This is my question to Bible readers. We could go into all the different religions, but we'll just say any book that you're reading from to get your inspiration on what this universe or God or the Creator may be. Now, any of the readers of these books, I'll use the example of the Bible because I want to show you that because I speak English in this lifetime, and that's where I was born, that's where my resonant sound comes from. So therefore, when you apply this to other languages and you see that it is universal, people will say that there's universal laws out there, but then they want to go, except in that coincidental case right there, because, it makes me feel uncomfortable. So therefore, the universal laws only apply when I like them to. But that's not the case, guys. The true law of God, the true law of the universe, only happens in one way. And the word being spoke by an open heart and an open mind that is truly in tune and not diluted with other people's say-so is the kind of mind that will set everyone free. But will those people actually truly want to be set free? Because if that's the case, you can't be set free when your mind is bound with premature or pre-held thoughts. So let's just jump into this. And that's why I want to title this, My Question for Bible Readers. Like I said, since I speak English, that's my resonant language. Let's just say, the Son of the Son. Now, if we think of God as the generated, ongoing, to and from director, which that's what God is. Now, what would be our first physical idea of what that would be as the generating, ongoing director? Oh, the Sun, the S-U-N. Now, if you think of the Son of God, that would be the sky, because the sun comes and lights up the sky, right? I mean, this is simple stuff to understand. This whole idea of become again as a child, really try that for a few seconds, and not in a way where you're all giddy and goofy, but in a way where you see the world with open eyes and wonder. And then you use your brain to clarify that information and put it together so you can see whether or not it makes any sense. Now, like I said, the Son of the Son would be a junction of that expression of a subject unit of subject, because it hasn't become into tense yet with a T. See what I'm saying? There's no T, it's a J, which is half of a T, 10, in this language. So, Jesus being the Son of the Son, or the Son of God. Now, people may be offended by that, but Jesus had also 12 disciples, and the sky is divided into 12 pieces, which we call months, or zodiac signs. They can try to throw an extra one in there, because, hey, anything they can do to mess people up a little bit. We just decided we're going to add a new one in there to tell a new story. Well, there's only one story, and everything they add will end up mathematically working out in the same way. But let's just go at what we've known to be so far. The 12 disciples of Jesus, or Christ. The 12 months. Now, why could Jesus walk on water? Now, let's just think the word walk. W-A 3D kinetic. Okay, well, what do we have when you are in water on a boat and you leave something behind you? It's called a wake, because now you're in it. It's the plural, active, kinetic expression of what is gone and what is left behind. So it's a vitally vital, active, kinetic expression, the wake. Now, if Jesus, the Son of the Sun, or the sky, which is the Son of the Sun, burning in the sky, could walk on water because the sky meets the land, or the sky meets the water. And why do we call it wat air? Because Jesus walks on water, not in water, on water, an ongoing notion. So the water, which is wat, energy, air, the energy of the air, is now water together.
Because Jesus walks on water. Is the sky not blue? And is the water not associated with blue? Yes, they can change colors when they aren't pure anymore. But we know, just with our simple understanding, that the sky is blue and water is blue. But of course, it's actually more clear. It's just reflecting the sky. Because Jesus, the Son of the Sun, which is now the sky, which is the daughter of Mary, the womb of the sky, or the night sky, with the stars and all that kind of stuff associated. And Joseph is the action of the sun, so therefore it's not really a father, it's just the action of the sun, impregnating the night sky, giving birth to a Christ, which is a crystal clear, identified subject plus. Now, Jesus being the junction of God, the Son, now he's just take out the Mary and Joseph part, and we just have Jesus there, the Son of the Son. Because most people don't give the parents credit in the real world, we know that. So anyway, you have Jesus. The what is in the air, because he walks on water, okay? And then we also have simple words like Fahrenheit and Celsius. Isn't it weird that we have Jesuit and Jesus, and they have simple, little resonant sounds with those because they have to do with the air and the temperature. I could go way into depth about Celsius and Fahrenheit. And just to show you, as interesting as it may be, I've been talking about this for a very, very long time. And everything I look at tells me the same exact thing, that I am the prophet, that you can truly, not money-wise, but spiritually and as a soul inside a body, you can profit from what I'm saying because it will enrich your life. Money will never enrich your life. It will enrich your activities in which you have yearnings to partake in. Now, if you can get past those yearnings outside you and understand you were put here to learn about what's inside you, then this will actually make a lot of sense because it's the truth, the divine truth. And I know because I started this whole thing. Now, don't get caught up in that and getting offended that a human being is saying this. Imagine what you would feel like if you were the human being saying it and knowing how everyone else is going to hear it because you would have thought the same thing before. Anyway, look at the words Celsius and Fahrenheit. Please be my guest. Check everything I'm saying. Look it up in books. Look it up online. Look it up in a dictionary. Look it up anywhere you can find it. And you will find that Celsius and Fahrenheit, both. One, Fahrenheit came before Celsius because the person who invented the term and the idea of Fahrenheit was born in 1686 and died in 1736. The guy who invented Celsius, or came up with the term Celsius, was born in 1701 and died in 1744. So there we have Fahrenheit and Celsius, just coincidentally by Daniel Gabriel Fahrenheit and Anders Celsius. This isn't something that I as an individual made up. This is something that the universal mind made up before we started this earth term in this universe. I've been through them all, and I've been trying so hard to say this nicely to people, because when you're telling the truth and everyone thinks you're lying because honestly they're lying to themselves and they don't want to listen because they're afraid that they might be wrong and they don't want to change all their bad habits, it gets really frustrating. So just look these simple things up and you'll see that what I'm talking about is so metaphysical and your everyday life is distracting you so much and you're finding so much fun in minuscule, unimportant things that you're not really listening. You may think you hear it and maybe register with you a little bit, but you're not taking it inside and listening. And I'm sorry, that's not my fault. That's something you've got to learn how to do, and I will gladly teach you, but you have to apply yourself and reach out to me. I'm done reaching out to people as in, Dan Alexander, this little guy who's trying to help people out. No, the truth is, I am the Christ, resurrected, but not in the way that everybody else wanted it to be, in the way that it really happens. When the person who is in tune with the universe the most understands, it all comes back. And when I say that, I'm not joking. I remember everything of everything. Now, everyone can try their hardest to look into all these historical things, but I'll tell you right now, I do know about them all. You're going to tell me your interpretation of it, and I'm going to tell you it's not important because we are here right now. That will never be redone now until you die and you go through it again, because this is all stored in your mineral memory. And you go through it again and again and again until you understand what you're doing here. That's what you're doing over and over and over. I've done this billions of jillions of just, there's no number for it. That's how many times I've done this. So I want you to look into these things, because I'm not saying this for my own health. In fact, as an individual, this is actually stressing me out and causing negative health. But I do my own healing, so I'm balancing that out. But when it comes to the fact that every other person that I talk to gives me the vibes of non-belief, gives me the vibes of they don't want to hear it, that affects me in a human form. We're not immune because we're spiritual. We're not immune because we become enlightened. Not at all. We're just the same in the body. We just happen to have an updated and upgraded and completely open and truly manifesting spirit. That's why I don't tell people how I've seen this earth end, because it will happen if I talk about it. Therefore, I leave that out and I tell you how we can repair it, because I've seen that too. Many, many times in many, many ways. And I know how it adds up. So I can actually explain that to people, which I am trying to do in the kindest, most nice way I possibly can. Please look into Fahrenheit and Celsius, and you'll see that those are basically based off of two people, Daniel Fahrenheit and Anders Celsius. I just happen to be Dan Alexander, the one who is talking about God, because I have merged with the universal mind in what other people name God. Now let's get back to the Son of the Sun. Now God is the sun. Christ is now the blue sky, because Mary and Joseph, the action of the son Joseph, and Mary, the night sky, has now birthed into a child, which is named Christ, or Jesus, the junction of the expressing, subjecting, unit, subject, the Son of the Sun. The 12 months are the disciples. The Christ reference that we have, walking on water, is literally the watts in the water. Because it's the sky seems to stop at the water, does it not? It doesn't. It just liquefies. It becomes fluent at that point. It becomes fluid. Now, Jesus also dies what? On the cross? What's the cross? Where the sky and the land, or the sky and the sun, or the spirit and the body meet. It's simply those things. Did Jesus die for our sins? Metaphysically, yes. Because he changed form in order to become all the different signs and identities of God. The Son, the S-U-N, Son. So yes, Jesus, or Christ, the Son of the Sun, the movement in the air, the energy of all living things, died, D-Y-E-D, as in changed form. He died so that we could sin or be a sign, a sound, somebody who can experience in the body of God to understand this whole thing. Now, we even go into things like the Last Supper. Some say that it's the day before the crucifixion. Some say it's the day after the crucifixion. I don't know how the picture of Christ at the Last Supper could be sitting there if it was the day after. That's because this is people's artistic interpretations. This isn't their actual experience. This is my actual experience. I know these things, and I know all the different interpretations. I know all the different actual experiences and lifetimes this has gone through. They're all different. There's not one that is the same. But they do add up universally, perfect, every time. And that's what I'm teaching. No one else knows this, so no one else can clarify. But your heart and soul and your mind, when it's actually aligned with truth and aligned with health, we will understand this. Because this is what you're here for. This is what all of us are here for. From me to the most heinous government official trying to hold people down. We are all here to understand this. The ideas that we have, that there's reptilians and there's this and that, those are words and ideas and interpretations of outer body into different molecular bodies, becoming other forms on different planets that some called Earth, some called this, some called that, some called all the different things. Every word, every star, every planet has been lived on by you. But when you die, none of them are there. None of them. Not one physical thing, not even one metaphysical thing. We have to have a body to explain metaphysics. We have to have organs of sight, sound, and all these different ways to interpret information in order to even converse about these things. So people have to understand that without the body, you can't even interpret this thing. All you can do is be it. And I know I am it. And I happen to also be in a body. I'm just able to speak from that place all the time. I have my emotional and my egoic appearance to it. But guess what? What else would I do? Sit here and just transmit silently? No one comes around. And if I do that, I see the horror that's going on in the world every moment. It never goes away. I see visions 24/7 every day. But they're not the kind of way that we portray them in TV. TV has diluted your mind so much that you've lost your ability to actually imagine, other than things that you've already had impressed upon your mind that you just now change around a little bit and they seem to be yours. This is not something that I've changed around a little bit and thought that it was mine. This is me straightening out all the things that everybody else has manipulated. Not me, this individual, but me as every other individual. And I know this because I am them. Not in some silly comparison way, in a true way. And I can feel your thoughts. I can feel your pain. But I will never talk about it because I will not belittle you in that way. I will let you ask your questions and seem to have your epiphanies and your ideas and your thoughts because that's what you want to do. You want to have free will, and I will not impede on that. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to teach you when you're ready. That's what I'm here to do. So let's get back into what I was saying and finish it off real quick. Do you know, like I said, the Son of the Son, the Christ reference, being the energy of life, that gives, that dies so that we can sin or be less than our true form, so that we can become a different body that says and sights and sounds differently as a different version of God? Now, if you can't hear this and understand it, you're trying not to because you want to believe the book. If the Bible is real and inspired by God and you understand what God truly is, every person writing any word is a word inspired by God. So that just topples your whole story altogether. And I'm not saying that to be some jerk. I don't want anything from you. I'm here to save you and bring you salvation, the true salvation, not some metaphoric or some idea that has been given to you by someone else. It doesn't mean you're just going to all of a sudden feel great and all these wonderful things are going to happen to you. Oh boy. No, it means I'm telling you the truth. I'm solving everything for everyone. That's salvation. Not just you, everyone. So I'll just run through what I was saying again because I'm just saying this off the top of my head because I know these things. So the Son, S-U-N, God. Jesus, you even see an S-U-S at the end, and now take north and south and just change the S and the N a little bit. A capital N turned is more like an S, more like a Z, but an S. Now, if you just took the 7 away from a Z, which turns it into an S, it makes it a S instead of a Z. So we have Jesus. We even have the Z sound, but we turn it into an S-U-S because it's a subjecting unanimous or unit of subject. It's not solid at all. The idea of Jesus Christ is not solid. Now, we've given people names that become solid, yes, and they grow through lifetimes based on their name and their resonant place on what they're going to go through. Obviously, no one's told it to you like this because no one's been through as many lifetimes as me, ever. The Buddha has not been through as many lifetimes as me, not even a blip of as many lifetimes as me. No one, no matter who they think they are and who they've convinced themselves to be, has been through as many as me. These aren't delusions of grandeur. These are truth coming from the source itself. Now, like I said, the Son of the Son, the 12 disciples are the months. The Christ reference is the Wat air, or the Wat that is in the air, and it walks on water because it doesn't wake, it walks in a 3D kinetic. Vitally vital, or as in plural sign, action or active, activating. 3D, which is L, or as it lie, kinetic, walk. So Jesus walks on water. Like I said, not in it, but on it, an ongoing notion. When it's clear and clean water, you can transmit very bioelectrically. So that's that. And on the cross, the seasons upon the horizons and the land meeting the water, or the land meeting the sky, the water meeting the sky, the body meeting the spirit, those are the cross. Those are the true cross. Like I said, died for our sins is dying as in changing its shape, form, and sight in order for us to identify as God or as identities of the Son, the S-U-N. So we are sins of the Son. Oh, that makes more sense, doesn't it? You don't need a book to tell you that. You need someone who cares about you truly, not somebody who's trying to get your donations or your tithings, not somebody who's trying to convince you to back up their financial bullshit so that they can live comfortably while you struggle. That's why I'm telling you the truth, and that's why it may really deeply resonate with you if you're listening, and it may really deeply be rejected by you if you refuse to actually care. That's the problem with most people. They refuse to actually care about something that really matters, not their own personal stuff. And like I said, the Last Supper is actually the idea of when Christ is going to go down, or the sun is going to go down for a few seasons. We have an idea of, the Halloween harvest and the Thanksgiving and the Christmas feast. Those kind of things are the ideas that associate with that Last Supper, because it's as the seasons are going to go into a stale period where nothing is growing, we're having this Last Supper, so that hopefully this Last Supper at the upper part of the year, the Thanksgiving idea, has now going to nourish us and keep us held over until Christ comes back. Now, if you really, really listen, you won't have any doubts that I'm just using a Bible reference. I can do this with you, your birthday, everyone in your family, everything you've ever heard, every mythologic tale, all of it. And like I said, I've never been a scholar. I've never done any of this stuff. I've never studied it. This all happened one day at one moment in what we call time. And I've been through this all. So if anybody just thinks I'm stupid or ridiculous and that I should shut up, that's because they don't really want truth, and they're afraid to lose what their physical, personal body has gained or thought that it has gained. If you can't see that, that's not my problem. If you do see that, reach out and support somebody who actually gives a shit about you and the truth. Until next time, my friends, God bless you, because that's who you are. You just became God so you could be less than who you really are. That's what bliss is the base 3D identity subjected upon itself. Bliss. I am basically, lie here, 3D, identified, subjecting upon myself, bliss. And God, the base 3D expression, subjected upon itself, has blessed me to be less than the truth so that I can actually learn it. That's what these things simply mean. People have just given you so many different explanations from different minds who weren't aligned. Some were more aligned, some weren't. But what can I do about that when that's not my personal fault? That's just our growing fault, as we had to go through these periods of time to figure this out, or to forget about it and destroy it. That's where we're heading. I have the answers. No one else does. And I hate saying that because people think that it's me talking big. The truth is, I know this. This isn't something that I think. This isn't something that somebody, gave me the idea of. No, I know this. I have seen the end. And the people who you have to stand against most are the people who are the most terrifying and scary to stand against. Those people in places that we call authority, because they have no right to run your life unless they own you and they own your mind. And if you own your own body and mind, then you owe it to yourself to stand up for the truth and back up somebody who gives a damn about you. My name's Dan Alexander. Please look me up, find me, send me a message, ask me anything. Till next time, God bless. Mm, yeah. It's so easy to get caught in the hype, to just forget what's wrong and what's right. If you'd rather not wander through life, I would kinda like to offer advice. But would you listen to suggestions and know if I showed you what directions you were destined to go? I would get a big maybe. You'd think that I'm crazy or possibly afraid cause you're just a big baby. Nah, I'm not trying to egg you on or bust your chops, but the antenna to your higher thoughts been busted off. And now the reception is static and buzz. What the average Joe does is have some drafts with some buzz. It's quite hard for most humans to tune in. They're drooling and glued into the illusion. That's okay, I guess we'll leave that unaddressed. Wait, but that's the only step we have left to progress. So no matter how fast we sprint in the loop, nincompoops, we're still stuck like chickens in coops who keep running round and round with their heads cut off. Gotta break the chains cause they won't choose to let us off. What if I told you I could see the future? What if I really could? What if it ain't so good? Whoa, what if I told you I could see the future? What if I really could? And what if it ain't so good? If there was a way to bring back your lost soul, when you had to change, would you rather not know? Would you quit before you start and say that it was useless and be like the majority who make excuses? We could use this gift given by God to become something, or we could keep living like dogs. It doesn't matter if we're pornographic, but no one else can say I didn't warn the masses. It could all seem to end in devastation, but you won't be going anywhere cause heaven's waiting. You'll be right back to the drawing board to find out what you keep on respawning for. It's more than just a cosmic game, but you'll never understand it with the novice brain until you're able to discern. There are many hard lessons left for you to learn. What if I told you I could see the future? What if I really could? And what if it ain't so good? Whoa, what if I told you I could see the future? What if I really could? And what if it ain't so good? What if I told you I could see the future? And what if I really could? And what if it ain't so good? What if I told you I could see the future? And what if I really could?